Hey folks, look at that. That's our national debt getting higher as we speak, every second that I speak. You're going to hear a lot about the debt ceiling in the coming days, but what are they talking about? Well, it's pretty simple, really. When the government runs out of money to pay its bills, it has to borrow more money to pay them, basically through debt, IOUs like government bills and bonds. It used to be automatic. Uncle Sam would run out of money and would just borrow more. But about 50 years ago, somebody in Washington said, hey, you know what? This is too easy. Maybe we should think a little bit about this before we just continue the process of taxing and spending and borrowing and spending and spending and spending. So now Congress has to agree to raise the debt ceiling limit. But here's the thing. As a country, we're already obligated to pay those bills. Congress has already approved of the spending, so this is not really a discussion over whether we should spend the money. Like buying a car. You already bought the car, or you hired a contractor that you want to paint your porch. You've already decided that part of the question. Now it's a question of whether you're going to use cash, check, PayPal, Venmo, or government bonds. Don't use the Bob coin, that's for sure. And what's the fly in the ointment here? Well, our national debt is over 120% of our GDP. If we can get that clock back up, $31 trillion we're talking about. It wasn't even that high percentage-wise during World War I or World War II. And Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans might want to bring up that issue again to remind Americans that one of the reasons our inflation is so high is that our country, led by Democrats, is spending too much money. And as the parties work out a budget, the GOP may want some concessions from the Democrats on future spending before raising the current limit. And this could get ugly with threats of a government shutdown. But would Republicans really refuse to allow the debt ceiling to be raised and risk the full faith and credit of the United States? After all, that's why U.S. government bonds are rated AAA. We always pay our bills. It could be a dangerous game of chicken. In the end, the Republicans will agree to raise the debt ceiling. Since 1960, the debt limit has been raised 78 times under Democratic and Republican presidents. Question now is how far they're willing to go to make their point. That's what we're going to see. Joining us right now with his thoughts, Art Laffer, a noted legendary economist, somebody I've admired for many years. Art, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, Bob.
Give me your feeling about where we stand here, because we know that you've got to pay the bills, but this has to get under, somebody's got to get control of this.
Your summary was beautiful. By the way, it put the whole issue into perspective. The only thing you missed maybe was Bill Sapphire's comment about these types of numbers of the New York Times. Bill Sapphire used to call them MEGO numbers, M-E-G-O, which stands for My Eyes Glaze Over. I mean, these are huge, huge numbers. And what it is, it's another bite at the apple that the Congress has to be able to extract, as you said, concessions from the ruling party. And today it's the Democrats. And if I were a member of the House and if I were looking at these things, I would want at least some concessions from the administration. I'd like maybe some sort of a restriction on the IRS spending. I mean, that might be great. They're hiring 87,000 new IRS agents. They're spending an additional $80 billion. That's almost $1 million per person. That's a lot of money for there. And we don't need more IRS agents. There are lots of other things we could extract. And this is just a game of balancing and extracting benefits. It is the obligation of the House to raise the debt ceiling if they want it raised. And, you know, everyone knows that's the case. And it's time for negotiations and time to get some good economics in there.
Okay, well, let's take a listen to what President Biden had to say about the GOP's fiscal policy.
But so what? These guys are the fiscally, they're fiscally demented, I think. They don't quite get it.
I don't know why he uses the term fiscally demented, Art. Your reaction?
Well, if someone's demented, they have dementia. I think that means something there. People might. Now, he's younger than I am, Bob, by 3 or 4 years. But I fear the word dementia enormously. But it's not. It's the law of the land. Here they are. They have the obligation and they have the right to raise the debt ceiling. And they're in terms for negotiation. This is the time not of being demented. This is the time of good faith negotiations to get what we both know needs to be done, which is to raise the debt ceiling.
Yeah.
But But they've got to give something up on it.
Yeah, the last time the government actually balanced the budget was, I guess, 2001. There were 3 years, I think, in which Republicans kind of telling Clinton, President Bill Clinton, that we need to balance the budget. Over the years, Art, it seems like the Republicans have kind of lost that message. And how do they get that back?
Well, they had it also with John F. Kennedy, if you'll remember. I mean, Kennedy was Douglas Dillon, was Secretary of the Treasury. There was a serious issue about the debt ceiling. Douglas Dillon, I think, said to Kennedy, I think at that time the liability would go to the Secretary of the Treasury. And he said, sir, I can hold him off for about 30 seconds or 3 minutes or some short period of time. But, here you have the thing of Kennedy cut taxes dramatically, and we started running surpluses. Bill Clinton cut taxes dramatically, and we started running surpluses. If I were the House members, I'd say we want to not only raise the debt ceiling, which we should do, but I want to do it with tax cuts, and I want you to make the Trump tax bill permanent. That would be a perfect thing to do. Or I'd want you to get rid of the IRS agents or the $80 billion, and there are lots of other financial concessions that the Democrats can make and put in. And I think it's a perfectly reasonable period to negotiate with them. There may be some other issues that the Republicans would want, but God, I don't want those. I want economics, economics, and economics.
Fair
Tax
enough.
cuts, spending restraint, sound money, minimal regulations, free trade, and then get the heck out of the way and let the economy solve its own problems.
Yes, the author of the Laffer curve, and as you told me in person one time, you did it not up and down, but sideways. It was more horizontal, right?
Yes, I did. That's a good pedagogic device for students. It also looks at my profile, seems to fit my profile, Bob. just joking. I get a little tubby in older age. But yeah, it did that way. It's much more visible when you can see it on the side, as you pointed out.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that the only way to solve the deficit problem is to increase economic growth. And the several ways of increasing economic growth: sound money, tax cuts, spending restraints, deregulation, free trade. All of those will work very much to lowering the spending and increasing revenues.
Okay.
And, it ain't rocket surgery, as Larry Gatlin says. It's very straightforward, simple. You cannot raise taxes on people who are unemployed or who leave your jurisdiction, who are on welfare. You can't tax a country into prosperity. It just doesn't work that way.
Okay. Art Laffer, a pleasure talking to you. Hope to see you again here. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. Your retirement funds are being threatened with even more losses from record inflation, recession, and skyrocketing interest rates. Fortunately, the highly trained specialists at American Hartford Gold can show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. If you call them right now as a special offer, they will give you a free gold coin on your first qualifying order, so don't wait. Call 866-935-4309. That's 866-935-4309, or text Newsmax to 65532. That's Newsmax to 65532.